What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon so far. NYG Jeff 85 here, and I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and their assistant general manager potentially being courted by another organization to be named their general manager. But first, before I get to that, there's been a little bit of rumors going around the Brooklyn Nets, considering one of their top players on the team. And that, of course, is Brooklyn Nets' young superstar player, Mikal Bridges. And the fact that he could have been linked potentially to the PortlandTrailBlazers in a trade package that would net the Nets the number 3 overall pick in exchange for Bridges. Well, apparently, according to the Athletic's John Hollinger, he talked about how the Brooklyn Nets might be inclined to keep the 26-year-old wing, Mikal Bridges, and this is the reason why. Brooklyn owes unprotected picks to Houston in 2024 and 2026, and unprotected swaps in 2025 and 2027. Thus, Brooklyn trading its good players and tanking would do a lot more for the Rockets than it would be for the Nets. Brooklyn's likely best path forward is muddling along with a Bridges-centric team, especially since he signed through 2026 to one of the league's best contracts. Obviously, Bridges landing in Portland became a popular source of speculation because of the fact that Damian Lillard is a very big fan of Mikal Bridges, and the fact of they wanted to maybe pair the two of them up together because Bridges and Lillard are actually pretty close overall. But I think the Nets are going to pretty much go forward with sticking with Mikal Bridges on the roster, and they're not going to try to trade him away, but instead they're going to use him, like this article says, they're going to build around Bridges going forward into this upcoming season and beyond, because he is on a very friendly contract. He is signed for the next few seasons. He is only 26 years old, and after what he did the end of this season so far, why would the Nets want to risk trading away a young player like Mikal Bridges and pretty much, we're tanking this season. We're not going to be interested in, trying to put forth a good enough product, especially after what happened with the Nets last year. So I think that the Nets are doing the right thing here. Keeping Bridges, it's going to hurt your team more than it's going to help your team going into the future if you're trading away all these picks in order to tank and try to get young players. Because here's the fact of the matter, and this goes with every single sport. Getting young draft picks is nice and all. Getting young players on controllable contracts, it's nice and all. But here's the difference. Mikal Bridges is an established star in the NBA. You know what he is. He's only 26. He doesn't turn 27 until later this year. And he's an established player in the NBA. Why would you take a chance on going on a young player that might have the upside to be star, but he won't be what Mikal Bridges is? Why chance it? Why don't you just stick with what you have right now on the team and go forward with the players you have on the roster? I agree with this. I'm not trading Bridges. To me, him, Claxton, and Cam Johnson, assuming that he's resigned, which I believe the Nets will resign him into a restricted free agent deal, these guys are the core of this basketball team, and I am not trading them. Unless you're going to get blown away with an offer that you can't refuse, those 3 guys have got to be the core of this basketball team going into the next year, 2, 3 years, however long it is. So I am not trading him at all. And hopefully the Nets decide to decline any other offers, because there was a rumor that went out last offseason after the trade deadline that the Memphis Grizzlies were in fact interested in trading 4 first-round picks in order to acquire Mikal Bridges. So, I think that's a very interesting thing that a team was willing to trade that many picks for Mikal Bridges, and the Nets declined it. That obviously shows how much they believe in Bridges' upside and his talent, and they didn't want to give up on him that easily. Now getting to the meat and potatoes of this article, Brooklyn Nets assistant general manager Jeff Peterson, who has been part of the Brooklyn front office since May 2019, is being interviewed and floated around as a name to be considered for the Washington Wizards general manager position, according to Brian Robinson of NBAinsider.com. Peterson has been part of the Brooklyn Nets organization since May 2019 after he was an assistant general manager for the Atlanta Hawks in 2016. And Brandon B. Scoop Robinson went on to say even more. Washington Wizards GM search continues, and a name that has been tossed in Brooklyn Nets assistant GM Jeff Peterson, as Peterson is a highly respected front office personnel in terms of circles and deemed as a rising star in Nets GM Sean Marks' positionless management system. Well, I mean, if that's the case, why isn't this guy potentially named the Nets general manager? Because of how bad Sean Marks has been as GM as of late and what he's done to the organization. The article goes on to say even more. Some of Peterson's duties included college scouting and listening to ideas that current general manager Sean Marks has. In a way to show Peterson's ascension in the NBA executive ranks, he was profiled in the Athletic's 40 Under 40 piece, in which they gave details on the executive coaches and agents that are shaping up the basketball world. Leading up to his position with the Nets, Peterson got his start in the NBA as a scout and a basketball operations coordinator for Atlanta from 2013 to 2015, before becoming the director of scouting for the same franchise from 2015 to 2016, and then he was eventually named the assistant general manager in 2016 with the Atlanta Hawks, and he could be the general manager of a team very soon, as a lot of league-wide executives and a lot of league-wide reporters are believe that somebody like a Jeff Peterson is pretty much one of those young, rising assistant coach general managers that is ready to take that leap and become one of the next great general managers. Like I said, if that's the case, why isn't this guy the Nets general manager? I mean, at the same time, it's not like you're going to be putting Jacques Vaughn in an awkward position because of the fact that he was here when Vaughn was part of the organization. I mean, at the same time, we know what's wrong with the Nets right now. And if this guy is really that highly regarded in terms of general manager and in terms of how he's viewed in front of everybody else in the NBA, why don't the Nets pretty much think about making this guy a potential general manager candidate this year? You got to think about it if he's this highly regarded. And I mean, it'd be a shame if the Nets end up losing him to the Wizards, and then the Nets have a bad season. We end up letting go of Sean Marks either way. And it sounds like right now that Bob Myers, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, just received a major lucrative offer from the Golden State Warriors in their effort to try to keep him around for the long term. So you have to wonder if the Nets might be striking out of luck if, God forbid, it doesn't work out with the Nets in terms of this upcoming season, and Sean Marks and the Nets fall on their face, and they have to end up letting go of Sean Marks going on over together. So that's another thing to think about. But either way, that's just some of the news and notes I want to give you guys. Tomorrow at around, tomorrow at around noon, I'm going to be releasing a video on a player the Brooklyn Nets might have high regards and high praise for, a young player who a lot of people named a prodigy coming out in this NBA draft that could be linked to the Brooklyn Nets going into the NBA draft. So I'll let you know about that young player tomorrow at around noon. I'll make a video about it and I'll let you guys know about him tomorrow at around noon. So keep in mind of that just for that video tomorrow. But if you guys like this video, hit the like button below and always sub up to NYG JeffyT85. More news updates and chatters around the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on that bell for notifications of the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. If you always enjoy the content, don't be afraid to leave a super thanks at the bottom. Shows your appreciation and support for the channel. And as always, thank you all guys for the support that you give myself, the Hardcore Sports Network, All-Star Sports, Let's Talk Sports, Big Blue Crew, everybody that I've been associated with, and all the participants and people I've worked with. Thank you guys so much. And leave a comment in the section below on what you think about the Brooklyn Nets potentially losing assistant general manager Jeff Peterson to the Washington Wizards, and also the rumors about the Brooklyn Nets debunking and declining a potential trade offer of Mikal Bridges to the PortlandTrailBlazers for the number 3 pick in the NBA draft next month. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and we're all just living in it.